Hi, I'm Heather, and this is the knitting update number 16 for Wednesday, January 28th, 2026. And again, I don't have much knitting progress today. I guess I just haven't been in really a knitting mood lately. Yesterday I wasn't feeling good. I think I mentioned that in my video. And so normally I knit in the evening, but I think I just haven't been bothered to. And you know what? That's totally fine. But I did make progress on my Sunken Cathedral sock. Look how cute she is. I'm loving this sock. I'm so happy that I decided to start this one. It definitely has been something that you need to kind of sit and focus on. But I think now that I'm past all of the sort of decreases and make one left, make one right, and the twisted ribbing, it's going to be a lot more mindless, but not totally mindless because I still have to do cables. So these will continue to be cables down the rest of the sock, at least until I get to the heel and then the foot part, and then I think there's only going to be 2 cables, but for the rest of the leg there will still be 4 all the way around. So this pattern is by Jess Thompson, aka Cnyttan Cnottan, on Ravelry and Instagram. If you want to find her patterns, I do try to put everything in the description of the video. It's not going to be links, but you know, the information's there if you want to look her up. I have made one of her sock patterns before, the Gansey Agansey, which sadly has not been released yet. I test knit that pattern and I talked about it in my first or second episode. If you want to see it, you can go back and check it out. It is one of my favorite things I've ever knit. I think it's the most beautiful sock, and I think her patterns are really, really good. They're really well written, but also I feel like it's so thoughtful. Like, I don't know, I don't think I would ever be able to come up with this design out of my own head. Not that I could come up with any knitting design out of my head. But yeah, I definitely feel like her patterns are worth paying for because they seem detailed and more complicated than, like, they're not complicated to knit, but I feel like they're great. Very easy to follow. There's charts, there's written instructions. For me, I love to have both because some things I like to follow the written instructions. I find a lot easier. The charts to me can be confusing sometimes when it's like just the symbols, and I can have a hard time keeping track. But then I also like having the charts to sort of just use on my Knit Companion app and keep track of like how many rows I've done. So to me, it's the best of both worlds, and I'd say check out her patterns. She also does a charity pattern every month. And so I've been trying to buy the charity pattern of the month because I would like to have all her sock patterns in my library. That's how much I like them. So I would recommend checking if you like knitting socks, if you like knitting socks that look impressive. Like, to me, I think I'm going to finish this and look at it and be like, oh my god, that is a work of art. I can't believe I knit that. And I can't buy that anywhere because it is too cool for a store-bought thing. Anyways, that is all the knitting progress I have. But I did want to talk about one more thing because today I went to the library. So my mom was over visiting and I didn't want to ask her to do another video again this week because I don't want to put pressure on anybody to be on the internet if they don't want to be. That's totally fine. But we went to the library, so I thought I'll look at the knitting books and see what they have. I've been really wanting to check out the Moomin pattern book that Lina Magazine just put out, but I didn't find it at the library. I don't know if someone else maybe checked it out. I did find 2 books that I did check out, so the first one is this Beyond Darning book by Hikaru Noguchi. I might be saying that wrong. I'm not sure. And this is Creative Mending Techniques. It looks really cute. It looks like maybe it's more to make little items with mending techniques versus like actually mending something, but I haven't looked through it yet. But I'm really curious. I love the cover and I love all these little projects that have been featured on the cover. And the second book is Visible Mending by Arounna aka Bookhow, on the internet. And the funny thing is, she's from Toronto, and I used to live in Toronto. That's where my husband and I met. And when we first met, he was living on the same street that she has her studio slash house on. Her stuff seems hugely popular on Instagram. Yeah, so I picked up the book from the library, and I actually have 2 mending projects that maybe I'll talk about really briefly. And they are right here. So the first thing is this black cashmere sweater. Sorry, this cardigan that I thrifted about a year ago is from Holt Renfrew. It definitely needs some TLC. The buttons though are so cute. And it's just a very basic cardigan. Crew neck style. It's very cute. I think it fits me great. It's longer than what I normally like, but that's okay. Can make it work. And when I bought it, I knew that it had some holes. So there's a hole there. There's a hole here. I don't know. And then there's a couple other spots in the body that are maybe needing repair. They might not be full-on holes yet. I have tried mending this on my own using a needle felting technique, and it did not work well. So I'm kind of curious if I can use one of these books to kind of help guide me how to do it properly. So that's the cardigan I want to mend. I think that's a good project, but it's not as straightforward as it seems. I also think like fixing along the cuff right on the edge, like that seems a bit more challenging, but probably just because I don't know anything about it. And the second item is these hand knit socks. That my mom made me, and they're looking a little bit worse for wear because I've had these socks for probably 15 years, and they're my most loved socks, most worn. These colors are amazing, and I feel like they go with everything. I love the color, this yarn. If I knew where to get this, or if it's still, I don't know if it still exists. If you know of a yarn that's very similar to these colors, please put it in the comments. Please, I would love to know, and I would buy it, and I will only use it. Or if you're a dyer, consider this palette because it is amazing. So as you can see already from how I'm just showing you like that, there are lots of holes in these bad boys. This sock isn't as bad, but it's still looking, it's getting pretty threadbare. Let's show you the toe as well. Also, these were actually what encouraged me to sort of seek out different style of toe decreases rather than just like the wedge toe, because I don't think my mom even remembers that she did this style of toe, but it's definitely one of the more like gradual, I keep calling it a gradual decrease. I don't know what the technical term is, but where you just work around and around, you decrease every however many stitches and however many rows. But I kind of like the look of that toe. Anyways, so these are looking sad. They're looking pitiful. They've also been around for a long time. And also, when I was first given them, I just did not respect them that much because I wasn't knitting socks at the time, and I love them, but I would just like throw them in the wash and throw them in the dryer. They haven't been washed in a while, as you can probably tell. They're looking pretty rough. But I also haven't really been wearing them lately because I want to mend them before I continue wearing them, so hopefully they will last longer. And I do have this. So I have the rest of the yarn to be able to mend them, and my mom gave this to me, and I think what I'm gonna do, also because they're a little bit short, I think maybe because of how I treated them in the washer and dryer, I think what I'd like to do is take the toes out and pick up all the stitches and then re-knit the foot to be a little bit longer and do a new toe, which will also, you know, help fix the whole problem on the toes, the holiness. So I have a plan to do that at some point, but I guess now my 2.25 needle is tied up on my sock. I'm using it to knit something. So that'll have to wait until I am done with that project. And then I guess for the heels, I think I'll just mend them using visible mending, and I might not even use the matching yarn. I might go for a more contrasting look, but we'll see. I would kind of like to do the cobalt blue actually on the heels. I think could look pretty cool. So that's my plan for that. It might be a while before I get to it. I could maybe do the heels first. This one is so bad. I think that's it for me for today, but I will see you tomorrow. Bye.